Context matters, ethics matters, and of course competence matters. Competence is the effectiveness and appropriateness of your communication skills. That is how you're using them, when you're using them, in what particular relationship you're using them. There are a number of different categories of competent skills related to interpersonal communication. Of course, you have message formation skills that you develop as you learn how to verbally create a message. We're going to talk about that in the chapter on verbal communication. We'll be focusing on things like accuracy and concreteness and specificity that all help you to create messages that people can understand. So you have message formation skills that help to really assure as best as you can as the sender of a message that the message you send out is received appropriately. Also, you have a conversational climate related skill, which you're able through conversational skills to set a climate that is engaging and very supportive, where the other person feels open to share and disclose in ways that are reciprocal to the way you've disclosed, that they feel like they're comfortable, that they're not being put on the spot. So there's a variety of skills related to conversational climate that we'll cover both in support and empathy, as well as in the chapter on conversations. There's also listening for understanding. Listening is a skill in which you are least trained in terms of communication, because you are trained in written communication, you're trained in oral communication and public speaking courses, but very few students ever take any sort of listening course or any sort of listening skills related aspects of any course that they take throughout their education. And we're just expected to be good listeners, yet many times we struggle. So there's a chapter on listening that I want to highlight how we can become better listeners and avoid many of the pitfalls of poor listening. There's also empathic response skills that help us to show support and concern and care for others, so that we can develop paralleled emotional responses, that we can show true empathy rather than just sympathy when it's appropriate. We also have disclosure skills that help us to understand when it's important to disclose information, to reciprocate disclosures from our relational partners, and sometimes to manage our own privacy, because that's what's best for us, or that's what's best for the other person. Now, in any of these related skills, it's always important to know that there's room for improvement. And so you can learn how to write goal statement, that is communication skill-based goal statements, where you identify problem areas. And then you discover ways through your text, through lecture, through other communication text and materials, how to improve upon that skill, and then you make those applications. And it's very much like any goal that you would make, in terms of you write down what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it, and you set deadlines for yourself. That way you're able to make progress toward achieving that goal. There really is, though, one super skill related to interpersonal communication and your competence, and that is behavioral flexibility. That is being able to analyze the communication situation. It is being able to best you can anticipate the kinds of responses you're going to need, but also being able to adapt your use of any skill to fit the situation. And it is really understanding context, the different contexts that there are, and adapting to those contexts, and how the communication encounter is unfolding. So it's not just pre-planning. Behavioral flexibility requires that you adapt to the situation as it is unfolding. So communication competence isn't something that we all have, even those of us that are the life of the party, or that have a lot of social skills that have enabled us to make meaningful, long-lasting relationships. We could always improve in these areas, and our relationships could always become more fruitful, more purposeful, and more beneficial to us, and we could become more beneficial to other people. There is one last thing that I want to mention before kind of closing out our discussion of interpersonal communication, the overview. And that is that you need to understand theory. And that is because we're going to be talking about a variety of theories in this class. And we're also going to be talking about practical applications of those theories. So I wanted to talk to you about how theories develop. And really what happens is, first we begin with common sense personal theories. That's ideas about the world around us based on maybe our experiences, what people have told us. For example, in interpersonal relationships, you might have heard, you don't date people you work with, or you don't kiss on a first date, or you don't date your friend's exes. Those are sort of some dating common sense personal theories that circulate out there, and oftentimes these may develop into something more. Some scholars have taken their own common sense personal theories and actually tested them, figured out whether or not there's any merit to what they thought. We also have working and professional theories. That is an application in a certain profession and a certain skill set area. How can we apply, or what do we think when we apply a skill, it will work effectively for us or ineffectively? And we have a number of those. You take any class in your major and you're going to be talking about professional theories. Also, you have scholarly and academic theories that have undergone the testing and have undergone peer review and critique and scholarship and have had published materials on them. And we're going to study a number of scholarly and academic theories, but in many cases they started from common sense personal theories, and someone actually went out and tested them. We're going to do an activity this week that does just that. And we're going to build upon common sense and personal theories that you hold yourself.